Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Good, the Bad, the Sports. Let's jump right in to today's good news. For the good news, we head all the way to MLB baseball, in particular, the New York Yankees. Last night, on Friday Night Baseball, the New York Yankees took on their rival, the Boston Red Sox. One player in particular, number 99, Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees, smashed his 47th home run over the Green Monster in Fenway Ballpark. However, this was a monumental moment for Aaron Judge as this was his 362nd career home run. This passed Joe DiMaggio on the all-time Yankee leaders list. He now sits at number 4, behind Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and Lou Gehrig, 3 legends to the game.
Leads all of baseball this season. And Judge rips one out toward left center field. This one headed way back beyond the monster as Aaron Judge catapults the Yankees to a 1-0 lead. One big swing at Fenway to pass Jolton Joe on the all-time Yankee home run list, number 362.
Now, let's move on to today's bad news. Last Friday in the NFL, the Los Angeles Chargers took on the Kansas City Chiefs. One well-known player that we all know, the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce, was slapped in the helmet, or some say face, but I think it was the helmet, by the defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers player didn't get away with this. The Chargers had a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty, and on Saturday, the next day after the game, the Chargers defensive tackle was fined roughly $12,000 for a first-time offense. Now, this Chargers player was recently signed to a 1-year contract, and he makes a bonus every game he plays, so the Chargers fans and Chargers are a little scared now after what he did and his foolish behavior, and everyone is concerned of what this player did, and it's not a good look for the Chargers nor this defensive tackle. But let me know what you think, if the fine should have been greater or what the repercussions for his actions should have been.
They looked at it, and according to Walt Anderson, they said that because it was an open hand contact to the head, that was not disqualifying.
Now, let's begin with today's big sports topic. We take a look at pickleball. Pickleball has become a very trendy and popular game that now is even played at the professional level. However, many think that pickleball is very similar to tennis, but from playing pickleball, it's completely different, and I think that they're wrong. Let me know what you think, and if they're different. Let's continue. For example, the pickleball court, as you can see right here, is much different than the tennis court, as it's a smaller court, and pickleball often has different lines on it to signify the different areas of the court. Also, there's the non-volley zone and the kitchen. No, it's not the kitchen where you eat food from, but you can't go in it unless the ball is bounced in there. And the server has to serve across the court and into the service box, similar to tennis, but still many of the different rules are different. In addition, the person who returns it has to hit it over the net and back to the towards the baseline area. And you need to win. You can only win points on your side of the court and when you're serving, more specifically. You must win 11 points. At a professional level, I'm pretty sure they play till 11 points as well. and then the set will be complete, and then you'll play another set and to see who wins. Yeah, that's the sports topic of today, and I think you should try and get out and play pickleball. The courts there's a wide variety and a lot of courts around the country, and probably one in your neighborhood. And that's all for the big sports topic of today. And to wrap up today's The Good, the Bad, the Sports episode, we'll be taking a look into Week 2 of the NFL, and I'll be sharing my predictions. Let's start off with the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. We all saw Thursday Night Football, and the Packers won that game. Now let's begin with the predictions. First off, tomorrow, we have the Cowboys and the Giants. Both are coming off losses. I think the Cowboys should definitely win that game. They have a better team. The Giants are a scrappy little team, but I think the Cowboys will win that one. Moving on to Steelers-Seahawks. The Steelers have a pretty good defense. Didn't really show that too much last week, but I think the Steelers can overall win that game, even though they played terrible defense against the New York Jets team. But Aaron Rodgers coming off a really strong performance, so I think the Steelers should win that game. Rams-Titans, Titans aren't a very good team, even with Cam Ward as their franchise quarterback. The Rams have a good team, Puka Nacua and all that, so the Rams should take that win. Bills-Jets, the Jets were surprising last week. They had a pretty good game last week, even though losing to the Steelers. Justin Fields played really well, and overall the Jets meshed as a team, even though defensively they weren't very strong. But, the Bills are just such a strong team, and the Bills are probably going to be too strong for the Jets to handle. So Bills are going to take that win. Patriots-Dolphins, pretty terrible game, to be quite frank. The Dolphins, they were terrible against the Colts last week. Patriots aren't very good either. To be honest, I don't even know who wins this game, but I think the Dolphins can win if they have a bounce-back game. Bengals-Jags, the Jags had a pretty good game last week, even though they were against a terrible Carolina Panthers team. I do think the Bengals are a strong team and are going to have a bounce-back game, even though they weren't playing well, from not playing well last week. So I do think the Bengals can win as long as Joe Burrow and that offense comes together and plays well. Next, we have 49ers Saints. Brock Purdy, I'm pretty sure, just got ruled out by Kyle Shanahan, the head coach. And, George Kittle went out last week in the early stages of the game. The 49ers are heavily injured, but I still think they can manage if they play good defense and CMC gets the ball a lot and carries that team down the stretch and in this game. So I think the 49ers can pull this game out. Next, we have Browns-Ravens. Browns weren't too terrible in the last game, but I feel like that won't stick. The Ravens, came off a heartbreaker against the Bills, losing by 1 point in a disaster. Derrick Henry fumbling. But the Ravens are going to bounce back. They didn't even have a terrible game when they lost, and they should win this one pretty easily. Lions-Bears. The Lions had a heartbreaker. Well, not really a heartbreaker, but gut-wrenching loss against the Packers, who have shown a pretty strong start this year. I think the Lions should bounce back and should win this game, with a great team like they are. Broncos-Colts. Colts, really strong start. Broncos, great defense, but that offense is a little bit shaky, to be honest. I think if the Colts keep it up, I think they should win. Going to afternoon games, and Broncos-Colts was one of them. Now we have the Panthers-Cardinals. Panthers, awful, terrible. every negative way to describe them. The Cardinals, mediocre, but I think the Cardinals should win because what I said about the Panthers. Moving on, Eagles-Chiefs. Now we all know this was the rematch of last year's Super Bowl. A lot of hype around this game. You know, the Chiefs with a tough loss against the Chargers, as that was in the bad news too, with Travis Kelce and the defensive tackle of the Chargers. But I think the Eagles are going to win this game. You know, the Chiefs aren't as strong, and I don't think they're going to be as strong as last year. And the Eagles have a very strong team. But that will be a very interesting game, and I will be watching that game tomorrow. Next, we move to the night game. We have Falcons-Vikings. Falcons, not a great team. Vikings, solid. It'll be interesting to see when Jordan Addison comes back from suspension, if he'll help the offense mesh together. I do think the Vikings win that game, though. Just overall skill. Next, we move to the Monday night football, and actually the 2 Monday night game footballs this week. Interesting. But the first Monday night football is the Buccaneers-Texans. You know, Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, 2 pretty even and balanced teams, you know. I do think the Texans will pull this one out, but that could be a very close game. And lastly, the late game, 10 p.m. On Monday, is Chargers versus the Raiders. You know, Chargers with a big win against the Chiefs last week in Sao Paulo. And Justin Herbert played really well. I do think they will be beating a terrible Raiders team. Yeah, those are all my predictions. Let me know if you disagree with any of these. And thanks for tuning in to The Good, the Bad, the Sports.